Okay, hello everyone. Time for another Facebook Daily. This is James from Recovery Devon, bringing you today's subject, which is going to be hobbies. So I'll be talking about hobbies briefly, and I'm currently standing in front of my garden, and you can probably tell from this, yep, my hobby is not gardening. So moving on, I'm going to take you over to where my hobby is. It's also, see from the hole in my wall, it's not DIY either, so it's a bit windy, so forgive me if the sound isn't great. I'm going to take you over to where my hobby currently resides. That's across the road. Yep, you guessed it, it's in the garage, and yep, there she is. So here we are. This is my hobby. I know some of you are thinking, do you know what, that's not a hobby, that's a midlife crisis. You're quite right. It probably is a midlife crisis. I got into biking quite late in life. Around my mid-40s, I decided that some cash I had in an ISA making diddly squit percent would look better in my garage. So here she is. And for those of you who've yet to have your midlife crisis, you've got something to look forward to. Anyway, what is she? Well, she's a BMW, and if I take you down here, you'll see some letters there. That's one thing I learnt about motorbiking. It's made up of lots of letters and numbers. She is a BMW R100 GS PD. So to explain that, BMW, obviously the make. R is the series of motorbike. 100 stands for 1000cc, so you just knocked a naught off. It's actually got 980cc. With two cylinders either side, so known as a boxer twin. The GS stands for Gelandstrasse. Remember, it's German. Geland meaning land, Strasse meaning street or road, loosely translated as road and off-road, so it's a sort of dual purpose bike. And the PD is my favourite bit. That stands for Paris-Dakar. You might want to Google that because it's one of the toughest rallies in the world, and some of the motorcyclists who take on the Paris-Dakar are some of the people who I have most respect for. It's an incredibly tough rally. Okay, so she's been sat here for a little while. It wouldn't be a proper video and talking about hobbies, bearing in mind one of my hobbies used to be coin collecting. I did that for, well, since childhood, but I actually sold part of my coin collection to fund this. So I appreciate there's lots of different hobbies out there other than gardening, DIY and collecting, but yeah, this is mine. So there we are. We'll just check some lights. Yeah, indicator's working, that's good. Okay, right, let's just see if she starts. She has been here for a little while. Hopefully the battery will have some juice in it. So I'm just going to turn the choke on. There's a little choke switch there, just like the old cars. This is an old bike. It's a 1993, so nearly 30 years old. We'll make sure that she's in neutral. And if you look over there, got some lights on the dash. So yeah, see, she's in neutral. That's always helpful if you're going to start a bike. And we push this button and fingers crossed. Right, there she goes. So there she goes, just ticking over quite nicely. Just remember to turn the fuel taps on as well. There was a little fuel in there, but I've just turned the fuel tap on as well. So she's sounding okay. Yeah, not too much smoke coming out the rear, which is always helpful. Back the choke off a little bit, and we'll turn the choke off fully now. Just give her a few revs, let her run over a little bit. So this is what my hobby sounds like. This is what oh, and she's been so much fun. And I'll turn her off. And I'll tell you another thing, having a motorbike and joining what has been a huge motorbiking family has been so good for my recovery. In terms of connecting, I'm connecting with so many more people. I've made so many more friends thanks to this motorbike. One of my best friends is now a neighbour down the road who saw me working on her one day and offered to help, and we've been firm friends for about 4 and 5 years now. So connecting goes without saying. In terms of learning, I had to learn to ride. Now, the bike I had before this wasn't actually a motorbike, it was a moped when I was 17, and it had pedals. So I took a big step up to this beast with her 9-gallon petrol tank. So I had to learn to ride, and I had her in the garage while I was still taking my test. So learning was certainly one of my ways to well-being with this bike. Being active. Do you know what? A big bike like this actually does require you to be active. I've got a push bike over there that I don't use very much. Now I've got the motorbike, and it is actually quite a physical thing. So I'm getting active, I'm getting out, I'm not sat in front of the telly, I'm getting out on the roads. Not at the moment, of course, but soon to be as well. Going to festivals and travelling up and down the country. So what about taking notice? Do you know what? It's hard not to take notice when you're out on a motorbike. You can smell if someone's cutting their lawn. One of the reasons bikers are quite large, I guess, is partly because you can smell bacon butties being prepared at the roadside about 2 miles before you get there. So I think plenty of bikers' breakfasts have gone in me since I've got the bike. So taking notice, also with a bike like this, you notice all the sensations. It shakes a little bit when it's at low revs because of the nature of the engine. You feel the sensations of the road so much more than you do driving with a car. And also, you've got to be aware, you've got to be, so you can't switch off on a motorbike like you do in a car a little bit. And finally, giving. You think, where does giving come into it with having a motorbike? But honestly, it does. Bikers are some of the most generous people I know, and the number of times I've done charity rides and done things for other people, such as the Santa Run, which is for our local children's hospice, where we all dress the bikes up and get dressed up as Santa and travel over there. Even in July we do a summer Santa Run. So giving is there as well. So that's a quick introduction to my hobby. I hope you have hobbies and enjoy yours. If you'd like to share what your hobbies are and how they help you with your well-being, that would be great. This is mine, and this is James signing off from his garage with my lovely motorbike here, and wishing you all well. And yes, if anyone fancies a pillion ride, I'm sure that can be arranged too. So this is James signing off. All the best to you, and goodbye.